Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day, but you know what? Nah, scratch that. It's hot as hell, and it's some manual labor to be had.
Hey, I am so hot and musty, my fingernails is dusty. Was outside in the garden, video is starting. I need to take a shower, make sure my phone is powered. I don't know how to rap, but I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. So today we're gonna go outside and we're gonna work on this small section of my backyard. Underneath this gazebo tent, I have an above ground planter, and I want to plant up tropical plants that are normally grown indoors, including philodendron and anthurium. So all of these plants that I'm using have been growing in nursery pots outdoors for a long time. But let me show you top 3 aeroids that handle zone 10B year round. Monstera, they're tried and true. They can handle the outdoors out here. This is a Monstera siltepecana. I've been growing up a wall for a few months already. And we have a Monstera standeliana that's growing in the shade. So Syngonium, they are tough. This is a berry illusion growing in full sun. And this right here is Syngonium boutique growing in the shade. And of course, Alocasia. This is an Alocasia macrorrhiza growing in full sun. And I also have an Alocasia saurion growing in part sun. It gets a lot of shade in the afternoon. So while I was out at the big box stores getting materials, I saw this variegated Euphorbia amic, and it was only $23. So I threw it in the cart because I know that these go for $30 to $50, and that is for one stock. And normally that stock is a lot smaller than this. This one has 3 stocks and it is over 1.5 feet. So the come up was real. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. Let's get to work. This time I got gloves because I just can't seem to keep my fingernails clean these days. I'm always working on projects and making pots. So I'm gonna start off this garden bed with a layer of mulch. So this is, blended up wood. I'm gonna create a layer on the bottom of this raised garden bed to start. So I'll save a little bit of this mulch so I can mix that into the main soil mixture. So I'm gonna spread this mulch around just for a little bit of drainage, and then let's work on the soil. So I hate this soil right here. It has a lot of compost. But it's cheap and you get twice the amount versus a bag of Miracle Grow or some other type of quality soil. So I'll just use some amendments to, make it what I want, and we good to go. So this is what it looks like. It does not have a copious amount of peat moss, because if it did, I would not use it. But it does smell like chicken manure, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna save some of this soil for backfill. Then I'm gonna get some sand. So I'm gonna add sand to this soil just because sand helps the soil from clumping up. If you go to the beach, sand will not clump up if it's dry. And then I have perlite that's going to help with the drainage and, help keeping that soil from clumping up also. And then I have the rest of that mulch I'll mix into the soil mix.
Baby, let's make this known. Baby, let's make this official. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. They don't understand what we do. Baby, let's make this known. Baby, let's make this official. I know that we both said we want things to just stay between you and me. Girl, I don't wanna do it anymore. What we said, we should throw it out the door.
Let's start with these Philodendron Congo Rojo. So I want to place these at the two opposite ends of this raised garden bed, but in the back. So these Philodendron Congo Rojo, they have inflorescence. Look at that. And the answer is yes, I will be collecting the pollen and I want to freeze it. So this one has two inflorescence and the second one has three inflorescence. So I want to collect that pollen, freeze it, and hopefully I can get my Philodendron Silver Sword to flower, and I'll see if I can cross the two. You know, I would rather cross these with a climbing philodendron because, you know, I've seen those type of hybrids before. Kind of like the Florida Bronze where they took the black cardinal and they crossed that with the Florida Green. And, you know, the new leaf comes out with, you know, that bronze or red color. What I'm doing here is trying to clean this plant up a little bit. I want to pick out all of those oxalis clovers. So next I want to loosen up these roots. There's really no need for me to be gentle because I'm willing to bet that after I collect this pollen and cut off the flowers, these Congos are gonna go crazy in this above ground garden bed. So now it's time to prune the plant, and I also want to remove some of these lower leaves that was damaged from the harsh weather during the winter. That will actually, you know, give it some more space now that it's going in a new location. So this plant in the center is a quarter-line fructosa. It has a lot of color on it when it's not getting burnt by the sun. But I placed it right here to see if it's a good match, and I think it's a go. So I was actually able to separate two smaller shoots very easily, and they had good roots on them. So maybe I'll pot those up if I have somewhere for them to go. This Begonia maculata grows so fast outdoors, but I am a little bit nervous because, you know, later this year, the high winds might just beat the brakes off of this plant because the stems are not very sturdy, but we'll see. This is a Philodendron Pluto, and I'm gonna tell you, I did not like this plant so much when I first got it, but it has grown on me. So the new leaves come out, you know, like a burgundy or a bronze. So the variegated version of this plant is the caramel marble. But I thought this plant was a rosette pattern when it comes to the growth, but it's actually not. It is a climbing plant. Like, look at this stem. So this plant is now starting to climb, and it's not getting thick like the typical rosette pattern philodendrons. This one right here is a philodendron Prince of Orange, and it just might be my favorite plant that I have growing outdoors. It just brings tropical vibes, and that is why I'm going to place this one front and center in this tropical garden bed. So, for those of you who be sleeping on this plant just because, it's cheap and it grows in a rosette pattern, it's my opinion that this plant looks better than half the philodendrons that we pay top dollar for. So check this out. It has an inflorescence, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but that is exciting. So right there is a growth point, but below it is the inflorescence. And I just thank this plant because look how that new leaf comes in with the strong color. Makes me want a Fanta orange soda. So this last plant that I'll put on the left side is an Anthurium Plaumonii with the sport variegation. So this one does extremely well outside. It gets a little bit of direct sun, and to my surprise, it grows well. So check out this root system. There are a lot of earthworms just having a whole entire get together around this roots, and it's creating like a lot of worm castings. You see that muddy substance? That's like all worm casting that I did not put there. So I'll go ahead and rinse this off, clean it up a bit. So now that I got the roots rinsed off, I wanted to tell you guys, if you have like a finicky Anthurium, once the root system gets large like this one, in my experience, the Anthurium becomes a little bit easier to care for. I have two other Anthuriums. Once they developed a good root system, they were easy. So I feel like, once you get to that stage, you good. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and throw in this Philodendron Birkin. So I was mean to it, and I put it outside in a spot where it was getting some direct sun, so it got burnt a little bit. But check out this little sprout of something that I found just inside of the caterpillar. But I think I have a story that explains it.
So, quick story. I used to have string of hearts, string of spades outside. One day I was sitting down, just, scrolling through my phone, and I had that string of spades hanging to my right. And just, as I'm scrolling in my peripheral vision, I see something just explode from that string of spades that was hanging there. I looked over to the side and I saw all these little feathery things floating away in the wind. And I didn't think nothing of it. But I think later on, before I actually threw that plant away, I did see some, the blooms turned into little seed pods. But what happened was, the sun burnt that plant up. I neglected and didn't water it enough, and it got crispy and bald at the top. So that's why I tossed it. But I felt like it's real cool that the sprout that I just found is probably from those little feathery seeds that flew away in the wind, because, the Philodendron Birkin was far away from this string of spades. So, I don't know, those string plants, like string of hearts, string of spades, string of turtles, those are ground cover plants. They, grow in a string pattern, but they actually can like cover a ground almost like shaggy carpet. So I'm gonna take this little sprout and I'm gonna stick it in one of my planter pots that has a tree in it and just see if it can, cover up the pot. I don't know how long that'll take, but yeah, that's that.
So I'm going to place this string of spades in the pot with this tree and see if it spreads across the pot. Okay, so I have everything placed, and I added in these Colocasia. That's Colocasia esculento, and that is a Colocasia mojito. So I'll backfill with more soil, and the plants that need more drainage I will mound up. So now I have it backfilled, and I don't know if you can see from the camera, but the plants that need more drainage, I kind of created a mound so that the water can, drain to a lower gradient. And those colocasias, they need a lot more water, so they're kind of sunken down. But you can tell with this Anthurium, I use this piece of wood to kind of help create a mound so that the water can, drain to a lower level. So there we have it. So I think we good. All I have left to do is top dress this with something, and I'll show you how it looks all finished just in a second. Okay, so here it is. I decided to use like a natural colored mulch for the top dressing. I thought about using like the black mulch, but I felt like that would blend in with the border of the above ground planters, so I didn't do that. And I felt like, this a good thick layer of this natural mulch will provide insulation for these plant roots, during hot weather and during the cold weather. So that's the Anthurium. I gave that Philodendron Pluto a bamboo stake for now. And look, the Congos and this cordyline in the back, they are at a higher level of soil than these two Colocasias in the middle. Colocasias are sunken down in the middle so that the water can drain towards, their root system because, those are bog plants. So here's the begonia. I'm hoping for the best. I gave it a couple of stakes so that it can stay upright, but I don't know what the wind is going to do to that. It's all good because I have some other propagations anyway. There's the little Birkin. We're going to see what he does. And of course, the star of the show, to me, the Prince of Orange. So overall, surprisingly, this project did like wear me out, and I think it was the going back and forth to Home Depot to get stuff. But hey, anybody can do this. I got this above ground planter off of Amazon for a good price.
So you'll be surprised what a shower and a cactus cooler soda will do for you, because I feel refreshed. I'm happy that little project is over, and I'm gonna wait around until I, muster up another round of motivation, and then I'll go ahead and take on those other planters. I think the exciting part about those other planters is, one I'll probably do with California native plants, and then the other one I'm definitely gonna do, cactus and succulents. So I think that one is gonna be a little bit more expensive because, with cactus and succulents, I have to buy like more rocks and all of that. But hey, when it's all finished, I'll show you all. But I want to give a shout out to YouTube channel All in My Plants. I enjoy watching her show. She's dope. I think the first video I saw of hers on her channel, she had a greenhouse tour. And inside of her outdoor greenhouse, she had a tree frog living, like a tropical tree frog living inside the greenhouse. And then, she has her birds and she does her little repots on top of the washing machine. Like, she got a whole little vibe, and I like her. So shout out to her, and shout out to all the other people that's creating and entertaining me, because, when I'm chilling, a lot of times I'm not watching TV as much anymore. I'm watching these YouTube videos, and that's entertaining for me, educational for me. So, and a big shout out to the district. So those of you who interact with me on a regular basis, like you leave comments and, we go back, like I recognize y'all because I talk to y'all all the time. And it's almost like talking to friends and family. Like a lot of y'all have probably never seen your face. I don't know who you are, but I do feel your energy. And I like having that exchange. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna call you the district. Because the district has spoken. Leave a comment on this video about anything going on, you know. But I appreciate you all because, you know, that keeps me going. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Dave, this is Airwood District. It's time for me to go walk the dog and talk to the Lord while I do it. I'm out, y'all. Stay blessed.